With the recent release of Battlefield 6 and the fun I've experienced with this game, I want to cover the recent arguments that have occurred about Call of Duty possibly dying and give my own opinion on this topic, and I do agree with this statement completely. But before we get into this is my first video and I love doing these retrospectives and presenting topics, so if you like that kind of stuff, you should sub. I play so many video games from NDA and AAA experiences, and my goal is to cover topics and bring my own opinion to them. In order to get a grasp of the path or scenario that Call of Duty is going towards, we need to have a conversation about the good old days, the golden era of Call of Duty. Call of Duty used to be more than just another yearly release. It was an event, a midnight launch, packed lobbies, the buzz of new maps, and mysterious waiting to be solved. But somewhere along the line, something changed. Today we're diving into the Black Ops franchise and explosiveness and the beginnings of World at War, all the way to Black Ops 7, the newest, most controversial chapter. This is the story of how a franchise that once defined a generation slowly lost its soul. Part 1. The Glory Days. It all began in 2008 with Call of Duty World at War. After Infinity Ward's Modern Warfare changed everything. Treyarch took us back to the World War II, but this time it wasn't glamorous. It was dark, brutal, and unsettling. You could feel the chaos and horror in every mission, and then came something no one saw coming. After the credits rolled, you were dropped into a small broken house surrounded by moaning shadows, not during towing. The very first Zombies map. 4 walls, one mysterious box, and new obsession was born. Then in 2010, Black Ops arrived. It changed everything. Cold War paranoia, mind control, Mason's numbers. Said it all. It felt like a movie you could play. The campaign was iconic, the multiplayer unforgettable, and Zombies evolved into a full-blown universe with Kino der Toten and Ascension. Everyone remembers eerie piano riff, that pack-a-punch glow, the feeling survival, one more round with your friends at 3 in the morning. Then came Black Ops 2, and it was pure innovation, branching storylines, futuristic weapons, and a villain who actually mattered. Raul Menendez wasn't just another bad guy, he was human. The multiplayer introduced Pick 10, giving players freedom like never before, and Zombies gave us Mob of the Dead, controversially my favorite Zombies map, a haunting masterpiece that blurred in the lines between gameplay and storytelling. This was the golden age of Call of Duty. Every launch felt like an event, every trailer a goosebump moment. For many, this was the peak. Then Treyarch could do no wrong, but golden ages never last forever. Part 2. Experimentation and the turning point for Black Ops, all the way to Cold War. Then came Black Ops 3 in 2015, last time Treyarch truly felt unstoppable. Visually stunning, lightning fast, and packed with creativity, BO3 took us into a cyberpunk future unlike anything Call of Duty had done before. Wall running, thruster jumps, weapon customization. It was bold, it was ambitious, and somehow it worked. The campaign dared to be strange, exploring consciousness, technology, and control. The multiplayer was smooth, flashy, insanely addictive, and Zombies, it reached a creativity high, with Shadows of Evil, noir mystery, Derision Drock, cinematic spectacle, and the surreal madness of Revelations. Every map felt handcrafted, new, every Easter egg a community puzzle. For many, this was the last time Call of Duty truly felt alive. When excitement and imagination still drove the experience, but hidden underneath all the greatness, something darker was brewing. This was the era that introduced microtransactions. In full force, the black market rolled out, locking weapons and cosmetics behind loot boxes. What used to be earned through grinding was now tied to luck, or worse, to your freaking wallet. And in Zombies Gobblegums, once a fun twist became quietly pay to win, and best abilities were locked behind randomness or money. It was subtle, it was planted, the seed for what would later consume the franchise, profit over passion. Still, for everything, it died right. Black Ops 3 remains one of the truly great Treyarch titles, a blend of chaos, creativity, and community energy that's never been matched since. It felt like the future, we just didn't realize it was also the beginning of the end. Then came Black Ops 4, and things got messy. No campaign, battle royale called Blackout to compete with Fortnite, and a Zombies mode that felt bloated and unfocused. It wasn't bad, the Zombies maps were very creative, but it didn't feel like the Black Ops that felt like Treyarch chasing trends instead of setting them. When Black Ops Cold War dropped in 2020, hopes were high. Familiar faces like Woods and Mason returned, and tone was grounded again. And the Cold War aesthetic felt nostalgic, but behind the scenes it was a different story. Rushed development, live service integrations, and Warzone. Warzone. Overshadowing everything. Cold War wasn't terrible, it was just safe. It felt like a franchise trying to remember what made it special, but never quite finding it. Part 3. I want to call this Part 3 the decline of BO6 and BO7 and Call of Duty as a whole. Then came Black Ops 6, and for a brief moment, it felt like a Treyarch was actually listening again. Gameplay was tight, the campaign had focus, and zombies finally captured a hint of what that old spark was. It was a reminder that once was the final flicker of identity before the storm, and then Black Ops 7 arrived. What should have been a return from became one of the most divisive Call of Duty releases ever. Microtransactions everywhere, just like BO6. Live service systems so aggressive that even campaign missions were tied to online progression. Weapon balancing constantly shifting from monetized blueprints, and a zombies mode that, while visually impressive, felt completely soulless. A shell of what it once represented. You could feel the change, the spark was gone, the game wasn't built around fun or storytelling anymore. It was just all around keeping you engaged, or more accurately, spending money. Treyarch, once known for its creative passion and deep storytelling, now feels trapped inside the machine it helped build. Fans who once stayed up until 3 a.m. solving Easter eggs now scroll past new content, announcements, without even blinking. The magic, the mystery, it's just all gone. This is the final part. This is the reflection of what happened to Call of Duty. The Black Ops series wasn't just a line of games, it was a timeline of memories. It gave us laughter, fear, teamwork, chaos, moments that defined friendships and shaped gaming culture. But as the industry evolved, so did its priorities. Now it's all about retention, engagement, and profit margins, not risk, not creativity, nor even heart. Maybe the future of Call of Duty isn't about going bigger or louder. Maybe it was about remembering why we played in the first place. For the fun, the mystery, the challenge, for what feeling when you survive just one more round. Until that spark returns, Black Ops 7 will stand as a reminder of how far we've drifted from what made Call of Duty legendary in the first place. Now, the other side of the battle. While Call of Duty was fighting to release a new game every single year, another franchise quietly took a different path: Battlefield. Where Call of Duty became about consistency and marketing cycles, Battlefield always felt like it had some time to breathe. Every release wasn't just another sequel, it was an event. And while not every game hit perfectly, fans never felt like they were chasing trends or squeezing wallets. Battlefield 3 exploded onto the scene. Massive updates, destruction everywhere, and the sound design that made every bullet feel real. Then came Battlefield 4. A bit rough at launch, sure, but it evolved in one of the most beloved shooters ever made. It didn't need yearly updates or flashy gimmicks, just community feedback and a developer willing to fix and expand on what was already great. Even years later, players still fill up the servers of Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. Why? Because those games hold up. They have identity. They were built around fun, not FOMO. When Battlefield 1 launched in 2016, it didn't follow a formula, it broke one. While other shooters sprinted towards the future, DICE went back into World War I. Something nobody expected. The atmosphere, the scale, the chaos. It's slow, gimmicky, fun shooter. It reminded players why Battlefield mattered. Because every match felt different. You weren't grinding a battle pass or chasing skins, you were flying over St. Quentin's Scar, holding objectives and living through a cinematic moment. It felt unscripted. Then came Battlefield 6, a return to modern combat, and despite a rocky launch, it proved something important. Battlefield doesn't have to release every year to survive. There's no need to compete on frequency like Call of Duty does, when you can compete on experience. Even with its flaws, players kept coming back, not because of marketing hype, but because Battlefield still offers something most shooters lost years ago, and that's freedom. The chaos, the teamwork, the sandbox. It's what made the franchise special. A single well-designed Battlefield game can keep fans entertained for years. It's not about quantity, it's about quality, scale, and identity. It's the same reason why people still return to the old Modern Warfare games. Those games had soul. They weren't bogged down by constant updates, store bundles, and forced seasonal content. They were built to be fun, not profitable. Battlefield, like those older Modern Warfare titles, understood that you don't have to reinvent yourself every 12 months to matter. You just have to care. And maybe that's the biggest difference between the two franchises today of Call of Duty. Call of Duty lost itself trying to stay relevant. Battlefield, even though its mistakes, still remembers that what it's supposed to be, a game that belongs to the players. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how often a game releases, it's about how long it stays with you. This leads into the conclusion: the future of Black Ops and the rise of Battlefield. The future of Black Ops is very uncertain. What once began as a story of innovation and mystery, a series that defined an era of shooters, now feels caught in its own machine. The magic that once came from creativity has been replaced with algorithms, analytics, and corporate checklists. But even in that uncertainty, there's still hope, because Call of Duty has something few franchises ever earn, and that's legacy. And legacy doesn't vanish, it waits. If Treyarch and Activision can look past profits and return to passion, the Black Ops name could rise again. The potential is still there, buried under years of noise, waiting for someone brave enough to bring it back to what it was: a story-driven, community-powered experience that made us feel something. And while Call of Duty tries to find itself again, another series is quietly gathering strength: Battlefield. It's no longer the underdog, it's the reminder that FPS games don't need to release every year to matter, that players value depth over frequency and experience over repetition. Even when DICE stumbles, it reaches the scale, chaos, and teamwork, things that can't be replicated by trend chasing. Battlefield 6 proves something vital. You don't have to compete with Call of Duty's schedule when you can compete with its soul. Players are returning to older Battlefield titles because they still feel fresh, alive, and fun, and maybe that's how the genre moves forward. Not enough endless seasons or bundles, but through games built to last. In the war for the future of first-person shooters, it's no longer about who sells the most copies, it's about who remembers why we play. If Call of Duty can rediscover its heart and Battlefield continues to evolve without losing its identity, then maybe the golden age of shooters isn't over. Maybe it's just waiting for someone to light the match again. This has been a look into the past, present, and possible future of two legends, Call of Duty and Battlefield. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, share it with your squad, and tell me in the comments which series do you like best and which one do you think will be the next generation of FPS games. Another thing I want to bring up is I did not grow up with the older Call of Duties, and I have no nostalgic bias towards these games, but I've played them, and I would say that I even want them back for sure.